Since the beginning of time, there have always been gender roles, also known as sex roles, and gender stereotypes. While gender roles may differ from one culture to the other, typically in the past, women were expected to take care of children, cook, and clean the home, while men were the providers. They took care of finances, politics. Basically, women ran the home, while men ran the world. Throughout the last century, women in many parts of the world spoke up against gender roles. They demanded the right to vote, to run for public offices, to work outside of the home, to basically do the things that men have been doing since the beginning of time. And while there were obstacles, while there were struggles, the struggles did not happen in vain. But as the saying goes, you've come a long way. Today, in many parts of the world, women have taken on roles that were in the past only for men. There are now female judges, CEOs of big corporations, presidents, vice presidents, and even speakers of parliament. This documentary will look at several political and influential women of power from all around the world, such as Kamala Harris, the first female vice president of the United States, Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany since 2005, Michelle Obama, advocate and former First Lady, Hillary Clinton, former First Lady and former presidential candidate, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, American politician and activist, Malala Yousafzai, Pakistani activist for the female education and the youngest Nobel Prize laureate, Dorji Choden, one of only 6 female parliamentarians in Bhutan, Rachel Ruto, advocate and supportive wife of the Deputy President of Kenya, Rebecca Kadaga, lawyer, advocate, and the first woman to be elected Speaker in the history of the Parliament of Uganda, and 18-year-old political activist Greta Thunberg, plus many more. This inspiring documentary will explore their advocacies, their political work, their admirers, oppositions, and controversies, as well as their struggles to make changes for women and humanity as a whole. In the words of Nellie L. McClung, never underestimate the power of a woman. Among German leaders, Chancellor Angela Merkel is a triple anomaly. A woman divorced, remarried, has no children. She is a scientist in quantum chemistry, an Aussie, and her East German upbringing, her tendency towards caution, and her scientific training all help to shape her leadership approach as the most powerful woman in Europe. There is so much to say about Madam Chancellor Angela Merkel. Along with her role as Chancellor of Germany since 2005, and being the first female chancellor in the history of that country, Madam is also known for being the youngest and first East German to become Chancellor of Germany, being the 3rd longest serving chancellor, being the only female commander-in-chief of a G20 nation, being the de facto leader of Europe, leading the region's largest economy after steering Germany through financial crisis and back to growth. She is known for strengthening Germany's economy and fending off a long-term recession, handling the Eurozone debt crisis and preventing Europe from disintegration. Madam has consistently shown strong and decisive leadership when it comes to keeping Europe ticking. This was evident during the Eurozone debt crisis. She is known for brokering a massive bailout for 19 nations. Her most defining moments stem from her central role in managing the Eurozone financial crisis. After other European nations began to reveal they too had unmanageable debt, Chancellor Angela Merkel analyzed all possible options before agreeing to a massive bailout. Nevertheless, she was criticized by her opponents for her slow-moving approach and rigid viewpoints. She is known for her energy reforms, her advocacy for European integration and close relations with the United States, abolishing conscription, supporting social welfare programs by introducing, for example, minimum wage and Elterngeld, which is parent benefit. She is known for responding effectively to the COVID-19 pandemic. Compared to other developed countries, Germany's response to the pandemic received very positive appraisal. Whereas many Western countries struggled to keep the death rates from skyrocketing, Madam remained calm and kept the virus from wreaking havoc in Germany. She is known for her leadership during the immigration crisis of 2015. Her party allowed more than 1 million Syrian refugees into Germany, and her chancellorship saw Germany take a very liberal approach when it came to immigration. She is known for being a good cook, for being afraid of dogs. A known fact is that Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly used his pet dogs to try and intimidate Madam. On her first trip as Chancellor to the Kremlin, Russian President Vladimir Putin gave her a plush toy dog as a gift after learning she was afraid of dogs. Her Excellency kept a poker face in front of Putin and later described his behavior as weakness. And finally, she is also known for being a soccer-loving scientist. Madame frequently visits the German soccer team's locker room to congratulate them after a win, and once, she accidentally saw star team player Bastian Schweinsteiger naked. Let's not forget Chancellor Angela Merkel's other noteworthy achievements and her foreign relation policies. She is known for her economic and social reforms both at home and abroad. She was heavily involved during the Treaty of Lisbon in 2007 and the Berlin Declaration of 2007. She is also known for standing up to this guy, former US President Donald Trump. She successfully made Germany more competitive globally. Globally, Madam is seen as a calm voice of reasoning, an analytical leader when it comes to foreign relations. She is known for securing a number of historical deals with Asian countries such as China, India, and Myanmar to boost political and economic corporations. She has campaigned for green and renewable energy, and her term of office has seen much more improved relations with Russia, especially her 2015 dialogue with the Russian President Vladimir Putin over the Crimea dispute. There is so much to Madam. No wonder she is consistently ranked number 1 on Forbes' The World's Most Powerful Women's lists from 2006 to 2020. The only exception was in 2010. The number 1 spot was given to former First Lady Michelle Obama. In 2015, Madam was named Times Person of the Year. She was recognized for leadership in the Greek debt crisis and the European migrant crisis. But Chancellor Angela Merkel does have her opponents. She has admirers, and for many, she is the unofficial leader of the free world and the most powerful woman in Europe and the world. Born on July 17, 1954, in Hamburg, West Germany, as Angela Dorothea Kastner, Merkel is the last name of her first husband, a fellow physics student whom she married in 1957 and divorced 4 years later in 1981. Madam is the eldest of 3 siblings, Marcus Kastner, a physicist, and Irene Kastner, an occupational therapist. Their parents were Horst Kastner, a Lutheran pastor, a native of Berlin, and his wife, Herland, an English and Latin teacher. When Her Excellency was only a few weeks old, her father moved the entire family to the outskirts of Templin, a small town near the Brandenburg Forest in socialist East Germany. There, she remained until the fall of the communist regime in 1989. Being the daughter of a Protestant minister from the West, carried both privileges and liabilities in socialist Germany. Her family had 2 cars, the standard East Germany Trabant, an underpowered litter box, and a more luxurious Wartburg, their official church car. Her family received clothes and food from relatives in Hamburg, as well as money in the form of forum checks from Deutsche Marks, which are valid in stores in many large East Berlin hotels that sold Western consumer items. They were elite, Erika Ben, Madame's Russian teacher in Templin, said. But the church retained enough independence from the state that the family lived under constant suspicion, and during her childhood, religious organizations were seen as agents of Western intelligence. By her accounts, Madame as a child was physically clumsy. In later years, she would refer to herself as a little movement idiot. At the age of 5, she could barely walk downhill without falling. As an adult, Madame often remarked that, What a normal person knows automatically, I had to first figure out mentally, followed by exhausting exercise. As a teenager, Madame both lived inside her head and she exulted in the outdoors. She was never bitchy or flirtatious. She was uninterested in clothes, always colorless, and her haircut was impossible. It looked like a pot over her head. A former schoolmate once labeled her a member of the Club of the Unkissed. She was physically clumsy. She avoided sports. She camped with friends, all while excelling at school. Who would have thought that this clumsy, unkissed teenager would one day become the most influential woman of the world and the leader of a country that drives the European economy? Chancellor Angela Merkel's education prepared her well for her future life. At an early age, she was interested in politics. At 14, she secretly listened to radio broadcasts from East German elections. But in school, instead of pursuing politics, she pursued science instead. She has a degree in physics and a doctorate in quantum chemistry. Some say her success as a politician comes from her scientific, analytic approach to situations which she learned while studying physics at Leipzig University from 1973 to 1978. She later earned a doctorate in quantum chemistry in Berlin in 1986. Many who have followed her career state that Madame's scientific habit of mind is one of the keys to her political success. She is about the best analyst of any given situation that I could imagine, a senior officer in her government said. She looks at various vectors, extrapolates, and says, "This is where I think it's going." In school, she was trained to see the invisible world in terms of particles and waves. This enabled Madame to approach problems methodically, drawing comparisons, running scenarios, weighing risks, anticipating reactions, and then, even after making a decision, letting it sit for a while before acting. Prior and during her career as the first female Chancellor of Germany since 2005, she worked as a bartender at disco parties in college. She worked as a research scientist, and she was the only woman in the theoretical chemistry section at the East Germany Academy of Sciences, a gloomy research facility across from a Stasi barracks in southeastern Berlin. At the end of the 1970s, she applied for an assistant professor position at the engineering school and was asked to join the Stasi, the East German secret police. Madame refused. Her reason was that she would make a bad spy because she was too much of a blabbermouth. She didn't get the job. Had she joined the Stasi, a future career in German politics would have been impossible because of a reunified Germany. Any past association with the organization would have been considered politically poisonous. Additional career ventures include spokesperson for the pre-unification caretaker government. Madame entered politics shortly after the revolutions of 1989, the fall of the Berlin Wall. She joined a newly established party known as the Democratic Awakening in February 1990. She went on to serve as the deputy spokesperson for the pre-unification caretaker government of East Berlin. Her party, the Democratic Awakening, eventually merged with the East German Christian Democratic Union. That party later merged with their sister in West Germany, the Christian Democratic Union. Since 1990, Madame has been a member of the Bundestag, Germany's lower house. She was elected to represent Straußen-Norderpommern-Rügen in North Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. Since then, she has not lost a single re-election bid, making her one of the longest-serving members of the Bundestag. She was also Minister of Women and Youth from 1991 to 1994, Minister for the Environment and Nuclear Safety from 1994 to 1998, Secretary General of the Christian Democratic Union of Germany, also known as the CDU, from 1998 to 2000. First female leader of the Christian Democratic Union from 2000. Leader of the opposition in Parliament from 2002 to 2005. During Chancellor Angela Merkel's long political career, she has often advocated for the less fortunate and for positive changes. In 2018, she stated that Germany will take on greater responsibility internationally in 2019 and that they will keep pushing for global solutions to the challenges of climate change, migration, and terrorism. As for climate change, she has been nicknamed Climate Chancellor for her long-standing international engagement for emission cuts. And as for migration, she urged Germans to champion openness, tolerance, and respect. These values have made our country strong. We must espouse them together, even if it is uncomfortable and taxing, she said. She has often reminded Germans that every person who comes to Germany is a human being and has a right to be treated as such. In 2015, government CDU threw open Germany's doors to a pressing throng of refugees and migrants. By December 2015, a total of 1 million asylum seekers entered Germany. This was an audacious act that, in a single moment, threatened to both redeem Europe and endanger it, testing the resilience of an alliance formed to avoid repeating the kind of violence tearing apart the Middle East. For Madame, the refugee decision was a galvanizing moment in a career that was until then defined by caution and avoidance of anything resembling drama. Analysts called it a jarring departure from form, but it may have also felt inevitable given how Madame feels about walls. Chancellor Angela Merkel is very compassionate to the plight of others. In July 2019, she spoke at her annual news conference in Berlin, saying,
Ich distanziere mich davon entschieden und fühle mich solidarisch mit den 3 attackierten Frauen.
This was in response to former US President Donald Trump's comments about the 4 female US senators. No wonder Madame is so loved by many Germans and people worldwide. An October 2020 survey found 75% of adults in 14 European countries trusted Madame more than any other leader in the region. She even has a nickname among German supporters. Many warmly call her Mutti, which means mommy in German. Madame is very popular with voters for her classiness. This is seen during a live television presidential debate in 2005. Her opponent, Gerhard Schroeder, yelled at her across the stage, shouting that she should acknowledge that she was a clear loser. Madame did not yell, but she took the opportunity to calmly respond. This is a strategy she continues to use to undermine her opponents. As a result, voters saw Madame as an even-mannered and classy candidate. She became chancellor shortly thereafter. It is no surprise that not just the people who love her, but she is admired by many politicians and German journalists. Politicians have to be effective and credible, and Merkel has been both. She built relationships of trust, says one of her supporters, German journalist Constanze Stellan-Miller. Despite many adoration from the people and politicians, Chancellor Angela Merkel, like all politicians, is not immune to critics. In 1990, in her new, more visible role as a spokesperson for the pre-unification caretaker government under Lothar de Maizière, Madame kept her cropped haircut, baggy skirts, and sandals, and she was criticized for it. Her male counterparts were so distracted by her appearance that they offered to pay for new and more suitable clothes for her. Some critics of Madame say that on major policy questions, she is indecisive, unknowable, and ponders to public opinion. They describe her as a tactician, but not a strategist, with no real vision, unwilling and unable to challenge old German orthodoxies or change the political weather. Perhaps most damningly, they suggest that her analytical, rational, nonpartisan, and ultimately technocratic style of leadership may have actually precipitated the collapse of Europe's political center and helped pave the way for the populists. Former journalist Hans Kandani once described Madame as a cryptic operator, who is Machiavellian in her ruthless sidelining of political opponents who acts generally in the way she believes will most appeal to voters. Despite all her critics, Madame, for her long career and her extensive work, has won and received numerous awards and honorary degrees. Some of her honorary degrees are, in 2007, an honorary doctorate from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. In 2008, an honorary doctorate of the Leipzig University. On May 2013, she was awarded an honorary doctorate from the Rabburg University Nijmegen. In November 2013, she was awarded the honorary doctorate title by the University of Szeged. In November 2014, she was awarded the title Doctor Honoris Causa by Communist University in Bratislava. In September 2015, she was awarded the title Doctor Honoris Causa by the University of Bern. In January 2017, she was awarded the title Doctor Honoris Causa jointly by Ghent University and Katholieke Universiteit Leuven. In May 2017, Merkel was awarded the title Doctoress Honoris Causa by the University of Helsinki. In May 2019, Merkel was awarded an honorary doctorate from Harvard University. In July 2021, Merkel was awarded the Doctor of Humane Letters, Honoris Causa from Johns Hopkins University. Some notable awards are: in 2006, she was awarded the Vision for Europe Award for her contribution towards greater European integration. She received the Charlemagne Prize in 2008 for distinguished services to European unity. In March 2008, she received the Brian A. Brith Europe Award of Merit. In 2010, New Statesman named her as one of the world's most influential figures. On June 2010, the American Institute for Contemporary German Studies at Johns Hopkins University in Washington, D.C. awarded Merkel its Global Leadership Award in recognition for her outstanding dedication for strengthening German-American relations. On September 2010, the Leo Baeck Institute, a research institution in New York City devoted to the history of German-speaking Jewry, awarded her the Leo Baeck Medal. The medal was presented by former U.S. Secretary of the Treasury and current director of the Jewish Museum Berlin, W. Michael Blumenthal, who cited Merkel's support of Jewish cultural life and the integration of minorities in Germany. On May 31, 2011, she received the Jawaharlal Nehru Award for the year 2009 from the Indian government. She received the award for international understanding. For her strong values and commitment to democracy and sound governance, she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2011. She received the honor from former U.S. President Barack Obama. On November 28, 2012, she received the Heinz Belensky Award in Berlin, Germany. In 2013, she received the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. In December 2015, she was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. In May 2016, she received the International Four Freedoms Award from the Roosevelt Foundation in Middelburg, the Netherlands. In 2017, she received the Elie Wiesel Award from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. In 2020, she received the Henry A. Kissinger Prize from the American Academy in Berlin. And that's just to name a few. Her national and foreign honors include the Grand Cross First Class of the Order of Merit of the Federal Republic of Germany, the Grand Decoration of Honor in Golden Sash of the Order of Honor for Services to the Republic of Austria, the Grand Cross of the Order of the Balkan Mountains in Bulgaria, in Israel, recipient of the President's Medal, the Knight Grand Cross of the Order Merit of the Italian Republic, Grand Officer of the Order of the Three Stars in Latvia, in Lithuania, Grand Cross of the Order of Vytautas the Great, the Knight Grand Cross of the Royal Norwegian Order of Merit, the Grand Cross of the Order of the Sun of Peru, in Portugal, the Grand Cross of the Infantry Henry, in Slovakia, the First Class of the Order of the White Double Cross. In October 2018, at the CDU convention, Chancellor Angela Merkel announced that she would stand down as leader of the party and that she would not seek a fifth term as chancellor in 2021. She endorses Armin Laschet as her successor. It is the end of an era, and only a few leaders can boast of a track record that can match Madame's record. Many are saddened by the news of her departure and wonder what Europe and the world will be like without her in power. Second Lady of Kenya, educator, advocate, supportive pillar, humble, modest, strong, prayer warrior. Second Lady Rachel Tibet Ruto was born on November 20th, 1968 in Kakamega, Kenya. Since 1991, she's been married to the Deputy President of Kenya, William Ruto, making her the current Second Lady of Kenya. Second Lady Rachel Ruto attended Kenyatta University and obtained a Bachelor's of Education degree. In 2011, she also earned her Master of Arts at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. After earning her degree at Kenyatta University, she went on to practice teaching, but not for very long. She eventually ventured into the tour business, taking people throughout Kenya to places like Masai Mara and Mombasa. But it was her time at Kenyatta University that shaped the course of her future, because it was there that she met His Excellency William Ruto, who would become the future Deputy President of Kenya. He was studying botany while she was studying education. Second Lady Rachel Ruto and Deputy President William Ruto began dating when they met at Kenyatta University. In 1991, they married. The power couple have several children together, and throughout their marriage, Second Lady Rachel Ruto has been a dedicated, supportive wife and a family woman. She is often seen by her husband's side, assisting him in his campaigns and playing an instrumental role in his political career. It is no surprise that Second Lady Rachel Ruto and His Excellency William Ruto are amongst Kenyans' favorite couples. Although Deputy President William Ruto has a joyous sense of humor, and he is often seen with crowds of Kenyans cheering and following him, he is also known to be tough, resilient, brilliant, kind at heart, and very well loved by the Kenyan people. This is due to his financial support and his advocacies on behalf of the less fortunate. One ought to be aware that he used his money to help many jobless Kenyan youths. And in a country that is widely Christian, his philanthropy efforts to raise funds for churches has made him more endearing to Kenyans. It is good to also note that Deputy President William Ruto is widely supported by the international community and is looked upon favorable by international leaders such as former US President Barack Obama and former United Kingdom Prime Minister Theresa May. Despite all this, it is Second Lady Rachel Ruto's wifely traits, her good reputation of serving all in her capacity as spouse to her husband, the Deputy President, and her never-wavering support that played a key role in his factor for his win in the 2013 and 2017 presidential elections.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Asifiwe Yesu. Vicar General na viongozi wote wa kanisa pamoja na viongozi wetu wa kitaifa, tunamshukuru Mungu kwa nafasi mzuri ambaye ameweza kutuwezesha tufike hapa ACK Mtwapa. Mimi mahali nilisomea shuleni miaka 6, form 1 mpaka form 6 nilisomea katika shule la ACK. Kwa hivyo mheshimiwa, hauko peke yako. Hata mimi naweza kujivunia kusema mimi ni mwana ACK. Kwa hivyo sitazidi kwa sababu mume wangu ameongea katika mila yetu ya Kikalenjin. Mume wako akishaongea hauongei maneno mengi. Nasema tu asante kwa kuzidi kuombea nchi yetu ya Kenya. Tunashukuru na tunadhamini sana maombi yenu. Asante General Vika kwa hilo somo katika kitabu cha Zaburi 51 ambalo natufundisha mambo ya msamaha ama repentance. Daudi aliomba msamaha kwa ajili ya mambo mengi ambayo alikuwa amefanya katika maisha yake akiwa mfalme, na hata sisi tunapotembea katika hii dunia tuko na mambo mengi ambayo tunamkosea Mungu. Tuzidi kuomba msamaha. Mungu awabariki na muwe na mwaka ya 2021 mwaka wa fanaka. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Along with her relentless campaign efforts on behalf of her husband, the Second Lady is known and loved by Kenyans for being a supportive pillar for His Excellency during many attacks, controversies, false accusations, trials, and even assassination attempts. And amidst many harsh and false allegations of corruption, land grabbing, and fraud, the Second Lady has stood by and supported her husband. When His Excellency William Ruto announced his plans to run for president in the 2022 elections, which will take place on Tuesday, August 9th, 2022, his ever-supporting Second Lady stood by his side and is actively campaigning on his behalf. It is interesting to note that the Deputy President is currently leading in the election polls, and he is Kenya's favorite to win in the elections. However, while Second Lady Rachel Ruto is widely known as a supportive wife of the Deputy President, she is also known for her advocacies. The Second Lady is a tremendous advocate for women's rights. She is incredibly passionate about women's empowerment. Due to this passion, she established various projects to help women in Kenya better themselves. Her Joyful Women organization, with a membership of over 70,000 women, is a registered non-governmental organization formed in 2009 to economically help empower grassroots Kenyan women. It is meant to see women meet their basic needs and fulfill their potential. One of the Second Lady's projects is the Table Banking Initiative. Most Kenyan women are familiar with chamas, which operate on a merry-go-round basis and people have to wait ages for their turn. Table banking is where women put money on the table either monthly or weekly. From this money, then each member decides how much they want to borrow. Drops of Gold is another project. This is an initiative to help women get clean water for use. Many women carry water for long distances. While touring the country, the Second Lady identified this problem, hence the project, which is in collaboration with the government. The Cross-Stitching Project targets women in prison who can cross-stitch. Women in prison create embroideries that are done in an artful manner. These embroideries are sold and the money from the cross-stitching is given to them, which means they'll have something when they leave prison. An interesting side note is that the Second Lady can also cross-stitch. This is a skill she learned from her mother. Another project is a poultry project, which supplies chicks to women across the country at an affordable price. In September 2020, the Second Lady launched the Mama Cycling Initiative. This is another project and it is meant to promote healthy living through physical exercise. It also promotes non-motorized modes of transport. Interesting fact is that on October 25th, the Second Lady pedaled for 37 kilometers in a race that attracted 100 participants. Through her Facebook page on Sunday, December 20th, 2020, the country's Second Lady said cycling was part of the solution to the country's challenges of air pollution caused mostly by motorists. In light of these projects, Second Lady Rachel Ruto was awarded the International Fellowship Award on Women Empowerment at the Binary University in Malaysia on January 17, 2014. The Second Lady is a successful and influential woman who many look up to for guidance and inspiration, including people on social media. On the fashion side, Second Lady Rachel Ruto has also been known for her modesty and her inner and outer purity. She is very well known for her simple dressing style and her short natural hair. Her hair is always in a simple, striking cut, and her body is always guarded in modest clothing that never goes above her knees. She is a woman who values decency, and she is always seen walking around with a sense of humility hanging over her, even when she is meeting dignitaries. Just the way she walks, talks, and dresses has led many to acknowledge that she is a woman of God who is anointed with grace. The Second Lady is a devout Christian who is known across Kenya as a prayer warrior. Famous are her countrywide prayers for peace in Kenya and the Jubilee Party's success in elections. On September 9, 2020, with political heat rising amid the next general election, which will take place in 2022, Second Lady Rachel Ruto convened a national prayer and fasting day where she prayed for the church, the nation, families, and even the media. She went as far as to ask Kenyans to fast and pray for the country. Kenyans and even people on the internet saluted her efforts in trying to preach peace and unity. In September 2020, when His Excellency William Ruto was unfairly under pressure from a section of Kenyan leaders over alleged incitement remarks made by his allies, MPs Oscar Sudi and Johanna Ninjino, the Second Lady held a massive prayer event in order to ease tensions. She took one of the most inspiring verses from the Bible's Acts 4:24. When they heard this, they raised their voices together in prayer to God. "Sovereign Lord," they said, "you made the heavens and the earth and the sea, and everything in them." Many Kenyans responded to her prayer event on Facebook with encouragement. They saluted her efforts in trying to preach peace and unity. Dr. Catherine Gugi tweeted, "Our lands need more of God than politics. We need to arise and pray for our land." Don Nam tweeted, "We are standing with you in prayer. He who kneels before God will not be forced to kneel before any other power. God is always faithful, trust in Him," tweeted Matthias Torori. And Dorothy Benjamin tweeted, "Amen. Keep praying for our nation, Mom. God will take away to His children." But this is not the first time Second Lady Rachel Ruto led the nation in countrywide prayers. In May 2020, the Deputy President's allies were kicked out from the Senate leadership. The Second Lady, while appealing to more prayers, posted indirect Bible verse on her Facebook page. Yet the news about him spread all the more, so that crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed of their sickness. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. This led many to believe that she was hinting that the Deputy President is lonely and praying. So, whether it's her advocacies, her work for female empowerment, her humble and supportive personality, her dancing skills, or her being a prayer warrior, Second Lady Rachel Ruto is undoubtedly one of the most beloved figures in Kenya. Her popularity and influence have only increased as she continues to support her husband's successful campaign for the 2022 presidency.
I'm their voice. I think you have heard the work we've done. For instance, we have the first daycare center in the country. No other institution has a daycare center. That we have done, that helped the women at Parliament, the staff, and the members of Parliament. We have recently enacted a number of laws to support the family. So on that one, I'm their biggest voice.
The Right Honorable Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga is widely known as being the first woman to be elected Speaker in the history of the Parliament of Uganda. This is a third position in the hierarchy of national leadership in Uganda after the President and Vice President. She served under the political party, the National Resistance Movement, or NRM, as Speaker of Parliament of Uganda from May 19, 2011 to May 21, 2021. But many years before that, Her Excellency was born in Kamali District, eastern Uganda, on May 24, 1956. Her mother was a teacher. Her father, George Wilson Kadaga Madali, a civil servant of the Ministry of Justice, always wanted Madam Kadaga to go to the best schools. Madam Rebecca Kadaga gained a very hefty education in law. She studied law at Makerere University in Kampala, and she graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Laws in 1978. In 1979, she obtained a diploma in legal practice from the Law Development Center, also in Kampala. Madam Kadaga would later obtain a diploma in women's law from the University of Zimbabwe. Also in 2003, she obtained a degree of Master of Arts, specializing in women's law, also from the University of Zimbabwe. Finally, in 2019, Madam was awarded an Honorary Doctor of Laws degree from Yumkamba, a private university in Uganda. With all these law degrees and diplomas, it was no surprise that Her Excellency Rebecca Kadaga began her career as a successful Ugandan lawyer and later politician. She would also be recognized as the first woman to establish a law firm in Uganda. In 1984, Madam Kadaga established her firm called Kadaga and Company Associates. She practiced private law from 1984 to 1988. Her Excellency's other distinguished responsibilities include Chairperson of Busaga University Council in Uganda, Secretary General of the East African Women Parliamentary Association in 1996, President of the International Federation of Women Lawyers from 1986 to 1989. From 1989 to 1996, she served as a Member of Parliament for Kamali District in the District Women's Constituency. From 1993 to 1995, she served as Chairperson of the University Council at Mumbura University of Science and Technology in Uganda. From 1996 to 1998, Madam Kadaga was the Ugandan Minister of State for the Regional Corporation, Africa and the Middle East. From 1998 to 1999, she served as Minister of State for Communication and Aviation. From 1999 to 2000, Madam Kadaga served as Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. In 2001, she was elected Deputy Speaker of Parliament. She held this title until 2011. From 2017 to 2018, she was appointed Vice Chairperson of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. From 2018 to 2019, she was the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association President-Designate. And on January 14, 2021, Madam Kadaga was re-elected to Parliament as a woman representative for Kamali District. Ugandan history was made on May 19, 2011, when Madam Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga became the Right Honourable Kadaga, the first woman to be elected Speaker of Parliament in the history of the Parliament of Uganda. She succeeded Edward Sagandi, who served as Speaker from 2001 to 2011. She would hold this distinguished position for 10 years until May 21, 2021, serving under the President of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni. Her Excellency attempted to be re-elected to the Speaker position for another term, but ultimately, in May 2021, President Museveni suggested that she assume the position of First Deputy Prime Minister of Uganda. Her Excellency, Rebecca Kadaga, accepted her new position and she assumed office on June 21, 2021. Although this section of the documentary is about Madam Kadaga, we should give a brief history of President Museveni. After all, Madam Kadaga served under him. He inspired her, and by all accounts, they had a positive working relationship. On December 20th, 2017, Madam Kadaga presided over the Ugandan Parliament, where she passed an amendment to the Constitution that abolished the requirement that candidates running for the presidency had to be under the age of 75. This ultimately helped President Museveni to win his sixth term as president at the age of 76. President Museveni was born on September 15, 1944, in the Rukuniri district, which is in what was then called the British Protectorate of Uganda. In 1973, he married First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni, a politician, AIDS activist, and founder and patron of the National Strategy for the Advancement of Rural Women in Uganda, just to name a few of her achievements. President Museveni is an evangelical Christian, a Ugandan politician, and retired senior military officer. He is known for being heavily involved in rebellions that toppled former Ugandan leaders Idi Amin and Milton Obote. He has served as the President of Uganda since 1986 under the political party National Resistance Movement. Despite some unfounded controversies and his opponents labeling him as an authoritarian and a rebel supporter, President Museveni is greatly loved by the people of Uganda, as seen in this photo of citizens cheering when news broke out that he won his sixth term as president on January 14, 2021. He is praised for revitalizing Uganda, improving its infrastructures, for opening the gate for foreign investments, for instituting a number of capitalist reforms, and for supporting free press. By the mid-1990s, President Museveni was celebrated by the West as part of a new generation of African leaders. From the 1980s onward, he also implemented extreme measures to combat the AIDS pandemic, which resulted in Uganda being one of the first African countries to be successful in battling the disease. His Excellency is also praised by human rights groups, international leaders such as US President Joe Biden, and the UN for his willingness to welcome refugees to Uganda. As thousands of desperate men, women, and children flee conflicts and natural disasters in search of a place of refuge, some countries debate whether to accept or reject asylum seekers. But His Excellency Yoweri Museveni opens Uganda's doors to refugees in record numbers. Uganda hosts one of the world's largest refugee population, about 1.4 million, with the Democratic Republic of Congo refugees accounting for about a third of the total population, and the remainder coming from South Sudan, Burundi, Somalia, and now Afghanistan. On August 25th of this year, a plane carrying 51 Afghan evacuees arrived in Uganda. Up to 2,000 are expected in the coming weeks. They will stay in hotels while American officials review their applications for resettlement in the United States and elsewhere. This is a process that could take months. Uganda is among 24 countries, from Kosovo to Costa Rica, that have offered to take in Afghans temporarily. The UN is asking other countries to follow the examples of Uganda and other countries and welcome Afghan refugees fleeing from turmoil in their country. Pope Francis joins other leaders in praising His Excellency Yoweri Museveni's welcome of refugees. He calls Uganda world's hope. But this is not the first time that His Excellency has embraced human rights and welcomed refugees to Uganda. In July 2020, during a temporary opening of 2 border crossing points at Golojo and Mount Ziu, northwestern Uganda, more than 3,000 refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo arrived in Uganda. The new arrivals were previously part of a larger group of approximately 45,000 people. Let's listen to some of their horrific stories.
The problem we got is that they were attacking us. Some of us were being forced to pay money that we didn't have. Some of us were killed, so we decided to run to Uganda.
We went back to our home village of Jew last December to bury my father. It was attacked last week. We left my husband behind, and I'm not sure if he's coming.
There is no security at all. The militias come armed with machetes. They kill people and loot. Hiding in the forest doesn't help us. We are not safe there.
We saw many rebel soldiers coming towards our village. They said we were safe to stay at home, but then we heard a lot of shooting, so we ran for Uganda.
Children, they separated in the way, and therefore he or she had the need to see their family member. Others have lost their relatives, so some of those really are traumatized.
We are not tired. We don't have much land. Our country is small, but we still allow them out of sympathy. I wish the international community also become sympathetic and help these people. These are not our problems. These are the world's problem, international problem.
The DRC refugees were fleeing escalating conflict in the northeastern region of their country. And now, back to Her Excellency, Rebecca Kadaga. Just like the President of Uganda, Madam Rebecca Kadaga is also known for her great service to the Ugandan people and her advocacy on behalf of women and those less privileged. Her extensive advocacy work includes campaigner for the eradication of female genital mutilation in Uganda and the Horn of Africa, advocate of human rights and social justice at the Commission on the Status of Women, UN Panel's Pan-Africa Parliament, the East African region, at the Conference of Women Speakers, chairperson of the IPU-IGAD Women's Caucus. She spearheaded the establishment of Certificate of Gender Equality. This was acknowledged by the UN Women at the International Women's Day at Kalala, Uganda on March 8, 2016. Patron of the Youth Go Green Environmental Conservation Group. Campaigner for girl-child education and for women's rights in Uganda and Africa. Advocate for youth-related matters. She established the first daycare center in Kenya. And she is also credited for establishing the first legal aid service in Uganda under FIDA. Her international works include serving as executive committee member of the Interparliamentary Union representing the African region, chairperson of the Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians African region. In this forum, she campaigned for the women emancipation in politics and governance in many regions of the Commonwealth. and she has presented many papers on women's rights, youth emancipation, and social and economic justice. Unfortunately, despite her many distinguished works, Her Excellency Rebecca Kadaga is no stranger to controversies, false accusations, and oppositions. As Madam Kadaga ran for the third term as Speaker of Parliament, she faced a lot of opposition, including people from the NRM party. In 2020, there had been suggestions that Madam should step down from the position of second vice chairperson of the National Resistance Movement due to old age. She was only 64 at the time. Madam's response to this opposition was, "How can you claim you support President Museveni, the party leader who is over 75, and yet you are standing against me because I am old, yet I am younger than the party leader? Then that does not make sense." International condemnations and protests erupted in 2012 when Madame pushed to pass the anti-homosexuality law, or as she apparently called it, the Kill the Gays Bill. This was a bill to make all homosexual acts punishable by imprisonment. Madame argued that most Ugandan citizens were demanding this law. International outrage occurred in December of 2012 when it was falsely reported that Pope Benedict XVI had given a blessing to Her Excellency at a Vatican Mass after she supported the anti-homosexuality bill. However, a statement was later issued by the Vatican spokesman, Father Federico Lombardi, saying, "Relations with the delegation were not out of the ordinary, and no blessing was given." He claimed that Madame Kadaga's greeting with the Pope was by no means a specific sign of approval of her actions or proposals. In October 2018, Her Excellency received the African Parliamentary Speaker of the Year Award at the London Political Summit. There was opposition towards her getting the award, but the director of the summit defended her. This award doesn't have anything to do with her homophobic views. She is a remarkable woman parliamentarian, and her record to improve the situation in Uganda is very good. We thought she's been a strong political figure, and that's why we gave her the award. When the COVID-19 pandemic broke out in March 2020, according to her opposition, Her Excellency made false claims that a local pharmaceutical company is about to manufacture an alleged cure for the coronavirus. Madame tweeted, "I've told Parliament that a spray which instantly kills the coronavirus, has been discovered and is to be co-produced in Uganda. It goes on the market next week." The American inventor, Professor Salvarez K. Niez, was here on the weekend and donated the patent, free of charge, to Uganda. Not long after, Uganda's health minister warned against the spread of false information about the pandemic, and Madame received a high amount of backlash on social media from Ugandan citizens and professional medical bodies from the Uganda Medical Association and the Pharmaceutical Society of Uganda. Furthermore, regarding the pandemic, Madam Kadaga and her fellow members of parliament were falsely accused of allocating themselves over 10 billion Uganda shillings of what was meant to be relief funds for efforts to fight against the pandemic and its associated socio-economic disruptions. Despite malicious controversies, Madam Kadaga has many supporters. She is loved by many, as seen in this news video of people cheering her. When Her Excellency ran for Speaker of Parliament for a third term, many tweeted their support. Message to all our MPs: please vote Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, Speaker of Parliament, Uganda. We need more women in top leadership. Vote Honorable Kadaga, the voice of the voiceless, for Speaker 11th Parliament. Vote Mama Rebecca. Honorable Kadaga is the most experienced in the speakership race. Despite Madame's loss and her departure as the Speaker of the Ugandan Parliament, her many supporters took to Twitter to show their continued support. NRM has fought one of its own rights from day one. They used her, Madam Kadaga, and dumped her. So my brother, Olinya, don't over-celebrate. One day, one time, you will also fall a victim. No matter what the other thieves have decided, you will always be my speaker. Your principles made the old guy feel insecure. You were the only one that stood up to his madness. Aside from being the voice of Ugandans, Madam Kadaga is the first woman in Uganda to hold the office of Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, and so she has received awards in appreciation for her work and advocacies. In 2013, she received the Golden Jubilee Award from President Museveni. In 2014, in recognition of her work as a women empowerment campaigner, she received the Grand Officer of the Republic of Benin from Thomas Bani Yayi, the former president of Benin. In 2019, the Duke of Edinburgh International Awards Program honored Madame for her work in advocating for youth-related matters. And finally, in 2019, she was named among the inaugural list of 100 most influential African women by Advance Media. Throughout Madam Kadaga's long career, she has championed issues that affect families, women, and marginalized groups. Her Excellency says it best, "I am their voice. I am their biggest voice." And many Ugandans will certainly agree, Madam Rebecca Kadaga is their voice.